being a little slow, but fine. All right, Brian.
Yeah, exactly. All right. Welcome again, everybody. We're gonna get this rocking and rolling. I see we got a bunch of people, so that's awesome. Tim, Manicus, Angus, Albert, Margarita, Frank, Wilfram, Alistair. All right, so we're gonna cover a little thing. I got a chance to see a couple fights that people in the group had. Congratulations to both of them. I think win or lose, they both were doing stuff that was both really good for what they did in the fighting, which really was stuff we just covered a little bit more about getting emotion out of the fight. Both of them did a really good job of actually removing that and watching the fight while they're in the fight. It takes concentration. It takes work to do that. It's no different than footwork we do. You have to do it. You have to get used to it, try to take the adrenaline out, and they did a great job. So congratulations. And they gave me some other ideas of things we have to work on. So we'll work on those. But to start, let's go ahead, and we're going to start with our standard warm up. Let's go ahead and flat foot squats. Let's get those legs warmed up. Just again, there we go. I know, that's awesome for now. Again, the idea is we want your angle of your shins to be the same angle as your back. Any other angle, you start putting pressure on your back. So if you can't do that, and you can only do a partial one, then just do a partial. But you always want to push yourself a little bit more. This is a good warm up. Good. All right, let's go ahead and let's get our good square back ones, our toe exercises. Everybody stand, get right up the balls of your feet, and then shift to your toes. Good. And then down, keep that back straight. You should only be on the balls of your feet. Heels should be off the ground. And then back up. Then push all the way up onto those toes again. Let's get some of those in. Get about 10, 15 of those in, depending on how fast you can do them. Try to get good form here. Try to keep that good posture. Try to push on those feet, on those toes. Those toes are part of your power cycle. Strong toes mean you can really grip the ground when you're driving power. All right. So let's go ahead and get those ins and outs. All right. Good stance. You can get a little longer in this stance this time. This stance, remember, your stance should change as you're engaging your opponent. Longer distances, that stance can be a little longer because most of your movement is directly at your opponent. Then as you close the range, that stance can get tighter and tighter so that you have side-to-side movement for dodging. But for now, we're working on forwards. So maybe a little bit more than heel toe. I usually do almost about another 4 inches. And then all the way forward. Press on those toes. Keep your back straight. Yeah, keep nice and stacked. All the way back. You'll roll right onto the heel. You keep midfoot, that's fine. And then all the way forward. On those toes. And back. Get some of those in. If you want to test your balance a little bit, go ahead and lift that foot off the ground. Right? I'm even having trouble with that one right now. Man, I used to be able to do that. I haven't been doing it much. Oh yeah. Those help with the balance. All right, switch. Let's do the other one. There we go. And all the way back. Again, this is one of the pieces we're going to talk a lot more again today about, because I'm still not seeing it happen a lot. Not seeing people use this to push the range on somebody and then take it away. This can be used as a way to invite people. I'm here, I'm going to hit you, I'm going to look, you can hit me, we're close enough. And then you invite them in, and then you counter as you're just avoiding the shot. And then you can work. That's how you invite people in. You can also use it if I'm way back here, but my legs are in range. I lean forward, throw the shot, and just come right back. Don't have to move feet. I don't have to step to essentially, don't have to step to take a shot. When what I see right now is still people a lot of times wanting to step because they're just outside of range. They step and take the shot, which essentially throws away all the advantage you have. That step is very easy to see. All right. I'm going to have Charles come and we're just going to go through this. Charles was like, oh, I'm just here for the first time. Don't do that to me. But tough. Yeah. So everybody, this is Charles. So he was just doing this, and I'm going to try. Everybody grab a sword, anything if you want. Okay. A sword, a stick, whatever. I just want to roll through that exercise that Elfwin showed us a number of times ago. Yeah, and we're going to do, he's going to go ahead and show just the idea of how to do these again so that we can keep that in mind.
Yeah.
All right, so he'll do it nice and slow for us. This exercise, I believe, is on line 2 somewhere. Right. A separate, we might want to make a separate video of it.
I think of it like you're scooping a ginormous scoop of ice cream at your feet. So it's just like you'd hold an ice cream scooper. So you scoop it, it's coming off as your arm comes in front of your face, you let it drop behind your body, the elbow rotates around, and you continue the arc. And then you scoop another one. Let it swing around. Scoop.
Pull it down.
Yep.
Scoop, and then this comes out. We do it again. Yep. Okay, here we are. Start from the beginning again. Just me. Hardly ever do.
So you're holding it just like you would an ice cream scoop. So I even hold my sword that way, like I'm gonna scoop it with my basket. So I scoop it.
Yeah.
You're bringing it, keeping your arm relatively straight. You're bringing it up. When the elbow gets like in front of your face, you let the weight drop behind you. And it like pendulums around.
Scoop. Arm in front of the face. Pendulum. Back.
Yep. Now, the slower you do it, the more work it is. Once you get into the rhythm of it, you're really just kind of letting the weight itself do the work, and it's just kind of stretching my shoulder out. You can do this backwards as well. So if you're going to do it backwards, you can start like you do one, victorious, you've got the blade in front of you. You dip it behind your back, and then when it wants to swing forward, then you rotate the arm forward, and then you're doing it just in reverse. So it is up like this one, let it drop behind your back, elbow rotates in front, and you're doing the ice cream scoop in reverse. You will feel this one in your rear delt. And in your butt if you accidentally let it hit.
Right where you don't want it. All right. So go ahead and switch arms. Let's do the other one. Just warm them up. Last time we didn't warm up and we went through a bunch of stuff. Later. You already own it.
Definitely on them, especially if you have a metal basket. It's really cool with lightsabers, by the way.
bonus lightsaber work.
Kids will think you're amazing.
prep up our time clock. It's some everybody's favorite. Get my boxing app. There we go. All right. Come on. Why didn't you come up? There we go. We fix the number of rounds to 6. I think we have 6 exercises. Time of round. We're up to 30 seconds now. Time to reset is 10. I'm going to drop the warning to 5. And time to prepare to 5. Let's figure out that one. Okay.
I figure it's good for everybody.
One day I'll figure out how to prep this up better. That's a bad way to start a day with a phone. Let me reset that. All right. Bang, bang. Okay. Are you ready for these? You know what they are?
They're on the board. I can kind of sort of see them.
All right.
We got rewrite it. They got wrote down.
Yeah. So remember, we'll start with squat jumps.
Basic squat first.
Oh yeah. Squat. Oh yeah.
Then
Basic
back to
squat.
Squat jumps
No.
first.
Basic squat, squat jumps, lunges, ins outs, ice skaters, and high knee. We're doing.
Call them out. Don't worry.
We'll call them out. Just follow us. Everybody loves these. So we'll just keep going until till we can go. All right, and here we go. 5, 4, 3.
Ready and squat. Squat. Flat foot. The fastest speed that is comfortable for you. Don't hold still. Ten seconds.
Seconds.
Our
Our favorite. Jump spot.
Jump. Or if you can't jump, go up on your toes. Round 2.
Yeah. Hey, last one in.
Next up is lunges. In 3, 2, 1. Lunges. Round 3.
That said, this would be good for all that new spear work you're going to be doing.
Also good for avoiding targets.
Happy morning. And break. Next is our in and out. So that's like our squat jump sideways, hopscotch, touch in the middle thing. Very descriptive. Boom. Round 4. And break.
This is not okay.
What, you don't like that game?
Round 5.
Every day is like that. I'm shocked about.
A good one to practice your burst.
Last one is high knees. Run it or march it. Whatever works for you.
Round 6. Final.
All right, everybody get some water. Get a breath. Everybody still loving those?
You betcha.
Oh, yeah.
You're trying to kill us with them.
Cat loves
we did
watching
30
me.
seconds last week. What's that?
My cat loves watching me exercise. Sat on top of my new gambas and that my friend sewed and I sewed.
Ironically, I just finished.
Go ahead.
I just finished throwing kettlebells around right before I started with you folks. So thanks for the warm down.
There we go. So,
Hello, General.
Cy told me I screwed up and made you all do 30 seconds instead of 25. I'd apologize, but I'm really not that bad.
I just asked him if he warned y'all or if that was correct.
So we were doing 30 seconds there.
I knew
That's why I probably felt a little longer.
You got 10 seconds rest. So.
All right. Two angles. I want to do on the eight. Right on the front. Okay, so either place, if you want to fight indoors, great. If you want to fight outdoors without masks, great, whatever. All right, so next one we're covering, we're going to do angles today.
Turning. Woo!
And then we'll see about what we're doing quick feet next week. But the big piece on angles is I really want to talk about when we're engaging people. So, like when we're engaging in a fight. Right now, we've had a bad habit. It's a good habit because the range has worked really well. But what I see is a lot of people are still, they're at just outside what I would consider the real gray range. Here, even if I lean in, I can't reach. I can fall in and hit. We practice those drills. Sorry, still need to catch my breath. But that's still causing a movement. Some of this is watch where my body is. Here I am outside of range. Here I am inside of range. Because now I'm that much closer to her to throw a shot. You notice the only thing I did was essentially change where my feet were. So I started way out here. Here I am. I just move my feet. Very small. What I see a lot is people want to take that big step and throw. As soon as that back foot leaves the ground, a person can see it. So this is the reason why, as soon as you start doing that leaves the ground, they're starting to defend or throw. You're giving them an opportunity. So today we're going to work, either we're going to step into these angles away from their swords, into kind of behind their shield, and then you have to see what's open and what you're throwing at. But this is a good defensive step in. Good step into their sword. Block, throw, right? But if I do this, I'm stepping into their best throwing offensively, defensively space. So that's why we're going to work angles first on all the ladder drills, and we're going to go through that exercise a little bit. All right, take it away.
Okay. Step. We're gonna start straightforward version of the step and then do the turning version or angled version, just to remind us all what the base footwork is. So we're gonna start with our regular drop step here. We're just gonna do one run of it, only forward. We're not gonna do backwards on this one. Just reminding us of our good drop step.
Making a nice little quick spin. It's perfect. You get down into those knees, you get back. And again, Louis is doing it with a sword. You've all been here probably long enough that you can do this with a sword. The key here is not to move that sword while you do it. Keep that good defense.
Now that we've reminded ourselves of that good drop step, we're gonna turn, get that angle involved, and now it still can be same drop step. So in this case, I'm moving the foot that's in the ladder, and I'm opening it first. And we're gonna turn while we do it. This is your basic like pendulum or triangle step out of a lot of long sports.
The key is you got to turn that toe where you want your body pointing. You said drop it. Yeah, and that hits the turn. Right. So what he's talking about, we're just going through this real quick. He's talking about it. The idea is start pushing it like that. Oh, start falling. Yeah, you're turning it. That was better. That way your body's turning in the drop. Yes, that way you're already. Otherwise it looks like this. And I'm going to show everybody real quick. If I'm going to step.
You're not in the camera.
You getting the camera here? So if I'm going to step on him, what's happening is if I don't turn my hip first and I'm here and then I turn, that's too late. My hips are off. My block is off. The idea is put your hip right where it's going to and you fall into that hip. That way you notice my body is always on you. Exactly.
And this one, if we want to, we can do it backwards. Still just letting that hip lead us where we want to go. Just going back.
So if you're doing a right.
I'm just advanced.
I'm doing it too. Yep. Yeah. So I'm gonna look and make sure everybody. This is actually a relatively harder one. Because the foot and the ladder have to spread. Remember, this is a gathering step. And not a shuffle step. Yeah, that's okay. We'll do this as a shuffle step, but it's a gathering step this time.
Germanicus? Right now, we're doing just like our basic drop steps, which would be just sort of one
Okay.
foot movement. You look like you're doing the big turning steps, which if you were purposely skipping ahead and working on that, then ignore me, but. Yeah, this is one that we don't do as much, which is why I'm trying to include it when we do our turning stuff.
This is good for you getting offline when somebody's attacking you. So if side's attacking me, right, I could essentially step and go away or turn around outside. Here I am. That was just a side to side turn. I could drop back as she does that. So here we go. Let's do that again. Having a hard time on the drop back. Here I am. Let's do it again. That's the wrong one too. I'm going to do it on the toe because I'm having trouble. So this is, I guess, one that we haven't done a lot. Let's make sure we got it right. Let's do it again.
Forward or backwards.
Backwards.
All right, so angled in, quick in the ladder move first,
And it's out.
then I just swing this hip back around to meet it.
Start angled in. That foot drops back into this corner. And this foot drops back into this corner.
And you're trying to shift your
Drop.
hips a little bit before your feet go. So that you're actually moving your center before your feet are moving.
If we want to go all the way back to our very basic, like how do I drop step, you just pick up the one foot and fall. Do the same thing here. Started at that angle, I pick this foot up and let myself fall. And as I fall, I'm just going to direct my hips around. Good, I can just pick this up and let myself fall that way.
So do it slow first. Get the feet right. Once you know what your feet are doing, then you can engage all the other pieces. So foot in the box goes first. You got it. Yep. Foot in the box. Good. It is. Yeah.
It's all about lifting the weight off of the one foot and literally just letting your body weight take you where you need to go.
And then once you're good at that, not only do you just lift your foot and go, but you slide
Exactly.
over that foot, and then you lift the foot and go. It's smoother.
We're gonna make sure this one gets included every time we have turning step
Yeah.
day.
Since we're all having a little bit of difficulties, we'll add this one a little bit more. That's I'm going to you. I want to see how you're doing. Good. Nice
Yeah.
job. Better than me. All right, Vim, I'm going to you. That's the way. If you're having a hard time, just figure out that foot that has to move. In your case, what you're doing is you're lifting first so you know. And then as you get better, it stays closer to the ground. That's all. And you add a little bit more drop into it. There you go. Good. Exactly. Very nice. Very nice. Let's see what you're doing, Germanicus. Good.
Yep,
That's it.
got it.
Very good.
I like the holding your center. to
Yeah,
make
that's a
sure
good,
it's,
make sure your center's there. That's
staying where
nice.
it should go.
All right, Angus.
It's a pro tip I've been giving everybody. I've been showing this.
So you're doing a shuffle right now, the foot in the,
Yep, that was it.
there you go. Now you got it. Yep. That's what I was doing, the shuffle thing. Good. That's
And then
awesome.
The very next thing we're gonna do is a shuffle, just to confuse everyone, but.
Okay, I'm gonna replace Abelard. You're gonna see you're right now, you're doing a shuffle as well. I don't know if you moved ahead, but you see how the foot's coming in? Think about that outside foot going out first. There. Better.
Subtle differences.
Subtle difference.
They're all good, valid
All right,
steps.
Margarita, going to you. Let's see how you're doing. Okay, you're doing the shuffle as well. You're just shuffling back. So now this time we're going to change the, yes, there you go. That last one was the right one. Okay, one more time. Let's see. Your foot in the ladder goes out. There you go. Good.
Yep.
Good.
It is.
You got it. That's
Yeah.
awesome.
To be,
Nice job, everyone.
to be 110% clear, both the shuffle version and the opening first, the plain drop step version we're doing, they're both good, valid steps.
Yeah.
It's not that you're wrong and you're doing something you shouldn't do. We're just trying to make sure that we can, in our brains, shift between and do all of the different things So we want to make sure when we say, let's do the open step, we do the open step.
Nice,
And then we
Greg.
do shuffle, we do shuffle. And then in a fight, you do whatever works.
Yep. All right. And she's 100% right. And the piece on this is, and Ajax, anytime if you have to, if you want us to stop and correct anything, let us know. Or if you need something explained, let us know, please. So the big piece on this is as we fight, it's important that we practice this going straight forward and back all the time. But the problem is my opponent's here and I just drop that out like this and back. My opponent's not moving with me. So I'm actually, here I am, I'm not facing my opponent anymore. I'm not facing. My opponent can easily face me, but I'm not facing, just going side to side. So this is why there's a slight turn in that fight. Here, I'm always facing my opponent. There's the sword. Here I am. I drop over here. Always notice that sword doesn't leave my opponent. It's always pointing. That same scenario has to do in the back as well when you're going backwards. We want our whole body facing our opponent because if we're off to one side or the other, defensively, offensively, we are not in our normal stance. All right, next one.
All right, so the next one, since we've worked on it a whole lot more, y'all are all going to be a lot more familiar with this, at least those of you who've been with us a while. So this one is our regular shuffle step version. So we're starting at that same angle, but now we are indeed going to bring the outside foot in. This one we're thinking about throwing those hips around from the weight thing here.
As you get better and better, this is one that like Louis talks about, and you'll see it when he does it. Literally, the idea is you can almost throw this hip and the feet follow the hip. In our case, we're going to go ahead and move. We fall here, out. We start shifting here and out.
As my modern dance teacher told us, all motion begins in the pelvis. Always move your hips first. And if you are keeping your whole body nice and vertically stacked over those hips, then your whole body will go with those hips.
Exactly. So if I'm your opponent again, here I am. You're going to just go ahead and switch right into
This one we can also do backwards. Don't forget.
Exactly. So the idea is you're making it hard for me to fix the motion. I can do it this way, and then you're going to want to turn, right? So if I got you turning, because you're following. Right? So what I'm explaining in this one is this is that turning motion that we're trying to use to break down the way your opponent is facing you. So if I have my opponent here, there you are, okay? And I do this little move right here. In this case, again, you notice his feet didn't change. I totally have him in my wedge. It is very difficult for him to throw it any farther across. He also loses power because his body is torqued. So this is a good place for us because this actually leaves these wraps really well, really open, and they're kind of pinned on the ground. If I do this and my opponent just turns with me, again, feet didn't move. This time, go ahead and move your feet. Okay, this time his feet moved. So now, but he's following me because he stayed in one spot. So this time I'm going to fake, like I'm going to go this way, and I'm going to go the other way. Right? So this is why this is how we're using the body to see what your opponent's doing. So if I'm fighting him, if I'm just staying here, back up a little bit. If I'm here, I'm in a safe area, right? But then I jump into an area that I can hit him. The good part is he's still a little bit twisted. He did move his feet, so he's okay, but I know where I'm going. I still have a shot, or I just see what he's going to do. So I saw him turn his feet. I'll take a one-inch jab step and then go the other way. Now, I got the whole side of his body. But that's because, again, I am setting the beat. I set the beat by moving first, and you follow. So he's just following. Right? So in this case, I could just set a normal beat, like a clock. Here, here, here. That time, all I did is I stepped and then I stepped again outside. I set the pace, he just followed. You notice I didn't have to do anything with my sword or anything. That was all feet. And I learned a ton about what my opponent was doing. This is why we do these things. And this is also why these angle steps are so important. Okay, let's do the next one.
The next one is coincidentally the last one, but it's got 8 versions. So the turning step. So this is our sort of bigger, broader, multi-step sweep of a turn. I'm going to start as I always do in my regular stance, facing the ladder. I'm going to start with my back foot. It points down the ladder, and then I just finish flipping around. I end back in my stance. Same foot forward and backwards as before. I end every single time in that stance. Start with my back foot again. Step and flip around. The trick is if you start with the foot and you put it in the ladder facing that way, you've pretty much already done it. That's just getting back in stance.
Keep your knees bent to not strain your knees as much.
Uh-huh.
That first step halfway into your angle.
Start always with the back.
So make it perpendicular to the ladder.
And then they should always come back.
Nope, back foot again.
Back foot again.
And then again, as you get better at this, try and do this only on the balls of your feet if you can. That'll work your balance and your core. Try and keep the motion smoother. Try to keep your hips a little bit lower and take away the balance out of it. So your head should be sliding, or your core should be, the center of your core should be sliding in space.
Oh, this is like Paul's crap walking.
You can just slow as you finish it. You can find that slowness. Right in here. Right at the end. Slow it down. Let's speed it up. Slow it down. Speed it up. That gets that balance that Louis is talking about.
Then you can do it backwards. By having your foot point the opposite direction.
Oh yeah, to go backwards is the only change is point it the other way. Go the back foot every time. Point it the other way down the ladder.
So some of this you're going to look and say, okay, where do I apply this? Right? In this case, he's applying it. We're talking about a really hard angle turn, but this angle turn may not actually be there. So if he's angled here, then he goes ahead and turns that around, and then go back foot, try back foot. Right?
I want to be that close.
Right. So, and then you're close because you're leaning forward slightly, and what happens is you can't get as much balance back, right? All right, let's do that backwards one more time so I can get in. All right.
So practicing these is also about doing more complex footwork that helps you learn to free your mind when you're doing footwork in a fight.
And we're actually going to practice and talk a little bit about that, applying these in a fight where there's a thinking. It's like, okay, I'm going to jab foot into that location. And then your jab, you're planning what you're doing, but as soon as, oh, that's my jab foot, right? All right, that's my just quick jab into that angle. Your exercise, you know how to do these, you've done them a million times. It's just executed. You don't have to think it's like, oh, I got to jab, I got to turn my foot, I got to do this, I got to, there's no pressure here, and I fall into it. You have to think about that because you already practiced it all this time.
So next, we're gonna go, I'm lined back up in my exact same stance, same foot forward and back as before, but now I'm gonna step with the front foot. And same thing, it's just gonna point down the ladder. And then flip around. Yeah, what makes this one different, if you're not thinking about it, is instead of doing a bigger step, a smaller step, and a bigger step, you're flipping those. So it's a small step, a
Big
big
step,
one, and a small one. Overshoot that second step.
Yeah, get on, make sure you're on your front part of your feet. Your toes, your ball of your foot is made for turning. If you're flat-footed, your foot will not turn as easily. It will grab the floor, and then you start twisting the knee. Or your shoe comes off. So the idea here is, the better you do this, the more you actually protect your knee while you're fighting. Because you'll learn to be on the ball of your foot. That ball of the foot will allow the knee to turn with your aim, so it stays. So if I'm here, let me see.
Get out of your way.
There we go. So if I'm here, there's my foot and my knee are pointing this way. If I leave this foot on the ground but turn this knee in, now my knee is pointing this way, but my foot is pointing the other way. This is a weak position. Same thing happens here. I'm just leaning on the outside of my foot, weak position. A lot of people do this when they're throwing blows. Instead of turning on the ball of the foot, they just drop that knee in, and then you're in a weak position. The idea is you want to turn on that ball. So if I'm throwing this, my knee and my toe are all aligned.
We're now in a lunge and ready to take off. And yeah, if you're really struggling with the pivoting thing, you can do real simple exercises, like literally plant yourself, take that heel up in the air, and just go in a circle. Force that heel to stay up in the air. Go take a ballet class, and they'll teach you how to do it for sure. Right. But yeah, stay up. Make sure you can actually just spin around.
All right. So, want to do those backwards? Huh?
Now we're gonna go backwards.
And then me and Louie are going to show you how to do this drill with a partner, and it rolls right into a fight.
So first backwards, I'm starting with my front foot again, pointing the other way down the ladder.
And again, what you're doing is you're falling in, you let your butt fall backwards to get that correct motion.
So not to lean forward.
Otherwise, you can't go backwards.
Twisting. Vertical body line.
You can make these small or large, depending on how much you want. Drift back.
Again, try to stay on the ball of your feet. And if nothing else, try to at least take that first step into the ladder on the ball of your feet so your foot can rotate without catching your heel on the ground.
If you are doing this with like tennis shoes on concrete in a parking lot, it's going to be a little harder to get the turning on the ball of the foot, but it can still be done.
And if your knees can't handle this much rotation, then only do it at a 45. Start facing down the ladder at a 45 and only turn into a 45. So you're only rotating 90 degrees, not 180.
So here's an exercise. We haven't done this for a while, but here's an exercise that you can essentially do this same thing with, and that is if I'm stepping, as soon as I take a step, if I take a step with my right foot, Louis is just going to go ahead and pivot out away from the step. And then we'll come back. This time, and he's just starting to feel which way I'm going. He goes the other way. So I'm not telling him. At the beginning, I'm going to go, okay, you can even just say, I'm stepping with this one. So that he gets used to figuring out which way he wants to go.
Right. So now which way do we want to go?
Right. So you can go either way. The biggest piece is that if I'm throwing a shot, let's say you want to be defensive, you might want to do away and back. There we go. See, now he's totally void. Okay, and in a position he can go. Or if I'm driving a straight line and take it, you might want to cut away from into my foot. And then I'm totally defenseless. But this is a good exercise to work with someone when you're at practice. This time, I'm going to take a step with my left foot. And he's on the outside of my left foot now. Okay, very safe position because my shield's there. Hard for me to get around my shield and his shield.
So I think randomly he can take a step with whichever foot, and then I will choose, okay, I'm gonna go in the direction of the foot he's stepping with. And we'll do like 10 of those, and then we can switch it, and then I'll go in the direction of the foot he's not stepping with, but his trailing foot. And then we can watch to see what things open up and what benefits there are and what limitations are while we're doing that.
And the key is that he's just working on timing. So here I am, I'm gonna get ready to throw, and then he goes. So he's working on that timing. Here I am, I'm getting ready, and he goes. So this way, it's almost like, this is kind of the slip, right? So he's slipping the shot. Here I am. Let's get on camera. Here I am. As I step here, he is on the outside of my foot. I'm in a poor position. It is very hard for me to change position as I'm making a throw. Here I am. Hey, and he's gone. Now I can change, but he's way ahead of me. This is the idea of working with a partner on these steps. Helps you learn how to do it in a flight. Okay, we're going to show more of that after we're done with the rest of these turns. Oh, he's over there. All right, so we did forward and back, small and large, front and back foot.
So now we're gonna do goofy foot.
You got it. So this time again, we're going to go down, forward, down the ladder, back foot. Okay, there we are. Oh, I switched my feet, so I got to change them again.
You need to adjust the ladder cam again.
Oh, we got it. Okay.
Right.
Sorry.
Thank you.
Thank you. So again, funny foot. Take that back foot, put it in the ladder, point it down, bring it back. Point it down, bring it back.
And get in the stance on your
Point
other
it
side.
down, bring it back. As you get better at it, get up on your toes all the way through. After you're done with that, take that back foot and go backwards down the ladder with it. Again, all we're doing is we're pointing the foot up the ladder. But instead of falling forward, we're actually falling back. Much different.
And you can think about where's the opportunity to throw the shot while you're doing the turn.
You know, it's Louis adding just a little bit of flinch, so you know when to throw that shot as your foot's hitting the ground. When your power is in effect. Because if I'm here and I start throwing, well, I'm not in a good place. I can throw at the beginning before my foot bangs, and then I'm over here.
Two good places for timing on throwing here.
You got it. At the beginning and at the end. That builds that timing that you want into your feet, up to your hands. All right. This time we're going to do little foot down the forward down the ladder. Funny foot, little foot, front foot. A little harder when you're doing it now. That's why we do it.
Oh, okay. Ah,
So some of this is hard because it's not what we're used to, but we all know the reason why we do that is we should be working on the ones that are harder first or more so that we get comfortable with them.
yeah.
All right, taking a look. Nice, Greg. Very good. Yep. So every once in a while, you're switching feet in between those, just to let you know, Craig. Vim,
Make
going to
sure
you.
don't get into
Good,
stuff.
nice. That's the way.
Make sure you don't get into a place
Good.
where you're reaching or leaning back towards the ladder because if the ground's wet or loose, your feet are gonna go out from under you. They gotta be under you the whole time.
Vim, what I like what you're doing here is your sword and your shield are not moving at all. They're following your body perfectly, and that's what we should be doing. We shouldn't be flopping that sword or shield around, because when we flop that sword and shield around, then we're fundamentally having to readjust every time. So it's not a great thing. So nice job, Vim.
Thank you.
Good. Now keep those swords where they're supposed to be, not on your shoulders, right? Do you carry your swords on your shoulders, Germanicus?
Yeah, that's something wrong Balder was telling me to do in terms of keeping my hands up instead of down here.
Okay, yeah, but when you take your hands up, so I'm going to show you, and then me and Rongalder had to talk about this. Let me get on the cam so you guys can see. Let me move it. So when he talks about keeping the sword up, right, he doesn't talk about, here I am, my my tips are behind me. See how the tip is behind my head?
Yeah.
Watch this. My sword is down, right? So now it's easier to throw down stuff. It's very hard to throw up. So the idea is, if I see a person's hand down here, I'm pretty safe on the head because the angle to cut up is difficult for me. So, but here's how, watch my hand when it goes up. Here I'm low, I'm high. Look how it goes forward, right? But you notice the tip is still in front of my head. It doesn't do this. I'm low, I'm high. Okay, because then this exposes that whole forearm.
Yeah,
Here,
okay.
Look where my forearm is. It's actually hidden more on the angle behind the sword.
Okay.
Does that make sense?
All right, so instead of coming up here, like that.
Right, and I'm gonna show everybody one more piece what happens. This is a good thing to look for. I'm not trying to change your style, so if you're used to being on your shoulder, I have no problem with that. Just be aware of the weaknesses sometimes. You will possibly gain power, but usually there's a little bit of sacrifice. Make sure whoever taught you the style that you go back to them, show them what you're doing, make sure that's right. But in our case, what's happening is here I am. Remember that leaning onto that front foot? Look at my back heel. It's actually not moving.
Okay.
So here I am, I'm gonna throw a shot, bang, I'm back out. This is that angle of attack is very difficult because it's away from my body. I'm gonna throw a headshot. Okay, again, notice I lean in and I can throw. This happens very fast. And I can start pushing right at the beginning of this if I want. I can start here, bang. This is really good for a double shot. Reach out, hit, fall in, hit. But
Okay, so
all of those times you notice, even when I throw this, I fall in, my sword goes back to position. Back to the same position, now I can throw a second shot. It doesn't do this. Here I am, throw. You notice now I get rotation.
okay.
So this is
think
one of
I see
those
where you're
things
going.
that Germanicus we're going to work on, taking some of the rotation out of your foot. So be
Yeah,
aware,
I see.
that's what we're talking about.
Particularly in our style.
Okay, it's almost like soft hands in baseball, because in that case, you don't want to be coming up in here to field ball. You want to be out here so you can float around and compensate for where the ball's going to be.
Exactly, right? You're not locked into something, right?
Yeah,
There you
okay.
go.
So instead of being locked up here,
Yeah, exactly. You see how you can just, your sword stay in position and you're kind of moving around them, right?
yeah.
And you can literally pull your body all the way away and stick your swords way forward. Yes. See that? Yes, that's how you make a block while you're backing up. All right, we're gonna go back to finish these up.
Also, the
Okay.
secret to-
Thank you.
No problem.
One of the huge criticisms we get on A-frame all the time is, well, you can't throw a shot with your arms way out here. We're like, well, the secret is we're not throwing from here. Throwing from here.
Yep.
Once again, it's a relatively complex shot because there's a lot of body dynamics in that shot, including your timing. There's a ton of timing and body dynamics in that shot. So it takes a little while to develop power. But if you got good technique, as soon as you get it all timed together and you don't have a break in a link of power, then that power comes through.
It could also be not just coming toward the sword and pushing forward, coming toward the back and pushing forward. It could be dropping down and pulling the sword downwards at the same time.
Yeah. And again, remember when you drop down and you do this, watch my back foot. I'm going to make it so you can see as I drop down. Look at how that heel, I'm twisting with the toe. See, because I'm throwing a sword across me. If I do this, see now my foot pointed one way, my knees pointed the other. This is inherently bad. So allow that toe work or the ball of the footwork to work for you. All right, last I think we're gonna do we kind of went through most of those turning drills, right?
Yep. There was time for people to do them all backwards and sideways and whatever versions you want. I didn't show every single variation, but.
So in this case, what I want to do, and you can do this on the ladder, and I'm gonna just use this real quick just as an example, and then I'll use the first one later. Here I am. I'm fighting. I'm at a range where even if I lean forward, I shouldn't be able to just barely touch the sword on your opponent. But what I want you to do is think of that as an opponent. And what I want is some quick jab work. In other words, we're gonna jab into the right. Remember, we're gonna look at this opponent. We're gonna see which sides are shield, which sides are sword. And if I want to be defensive, I'm gonna jab right behind that shield. And you notice this is just, I can do this jab, just keep my feet even, or I can do switching my feet, try to get a bigger rack. I don't care. Right now, we'll just do the first jab foot, and then we'll do the switch foot. So here we are. I'm gonna jab instead of this quick jab in and out. I'm gonna jab over here. Okay, into that corner. Now you should be able to touch it, and then you should be able to go back all the way back out to a farther range. Let me grab my sword, show you guys. Here I am. I'm leaning forward. This is my max range, not moving my feet. Okay? I'm going to jab into this point. Notice now I can throw. I could actually do the reverse back on this, and then I'm far out of range and in front of them again. So the first one, we're actually grabbing at an angle that's very difficult. We have to turn this foot as soon as we jab into this corner, so we're facing our opponent. This one, so we're going to do that. I want everybody to do that about four or five times. I'm going to check, see how everyone's doing it. Go ahead. Now, good. Reach that sword out and touch it. There you go, perfect. Now jab into the corner. How close are you? Yes, there we go. And then back. The idea here is you get a shot and then you get out. Okay, Margarita, we're going to take a look. Good. Very nice. Yeah, make sure those hands don't move too much. There you go. Good. That's why we want to see Margarita. The idea here is that we are moving in and out of our opponent's range. We're at the beginning, you're way far away, and then at the end, you're in a range that because I'm going into an angle, you're changing your opponent's angle, and they don't have as much opportunity. Nice, Craig. That's exactly it. So we want to think about this in a fight. Like Germanicus yesterday, your range control was absolutely beautiful. So while you have that range control and you're calm, I'm going to think about, here you are. I'm going to think, okay, I'm jabbing over to their shield side and see if they leave anything open. What happened when I jabbed when I did this jumping over here? Did they turn? Because if they turned, I might do this. If they turned their whole body, I might make it look like I'm
Ladder cam, please.
What? Oh, sorry. Craig's gonna have to show it all now. There we go. Good.
I still can't see the ladder cam.
All right. There we go. So I'm out of range. I'm thinking, Do I want to go this? Switch this out. Do I want to go sword side or shield side? This is what I'm thinking about when I fight him. So in his case, I'm going to be like, okay, I want to be relatively safe here. What I'm going to do is I'm going to hop over here real quick. So he's going to turn. Then I'm going to hop back. So he's going to turn back. Right? Meanwhile, he hasn't thrown yet. So now I might go. So I set up a pattern and then I break that pattern. So the next step will be this. Here I go. I jam into the corner and then I come back. This time you're just going to take your back foot and make it look like you're going to go that way. Stop here and then jam into the other corner. So here we are. Into the corner, back, fake, drop step right up to the outside of the sword. And now I'll show you why this is safe. The first time I jab into this corner, even if he turns, his feet are way twisted, hard for him to throw. I'm relatively safe because I know I'm going in the range. He doesn't know yet. So he has a lot of decision making to do. After I do something, I might come back here. I'm safe again. So the idea there is you want to find where your safety is. This time I know he's going to turn, so I'm going to make him turn first. Hey, yeah, because he really thinks I'm going that way. Hey, now his sword is facing that way. I am pretty comfortable that I am pretty safe. You notice I am setting all of this up. What is the first thing I'm thinking of? It is not of throwing. First thing I'm thinking about is how can I be safe and defensive? And then I think about where are my attacks? Okay.
So set up a position where you are well defended, but maximizes your attack.
Yeah, so yesterday, anytime you moved in range, you wanted to throw something. Bang, bang, bang. Well, if you do that every time, your opponent knows. Okay, he steps in, he's going to throw, I'm going to throw. So now safety is out the window a little bit. So instead, I may know that I'm going to jump into this position perfectly defensive. I'm like, I'm ready to block anything. Then I'm going to come back. I'm like, okay, you know, he moved really well. I'm going to change that up. Bang. But that first move helped me understand how I'm setting up my opponent. You can do that with feet, setting up your opponent, or you could do it with a sword. Here I am. I'm going to fake a sword shot over here. That's going to pin him down. And I'm stepping over here. So how do I know that? First, I give him a good fake. Look how he drops. Okay, I'm going to do it again so you can all see what. See how he dropped really hard into that one foot? That makes it very difficult for him to move. So I'm going to do it again. Bang. Now, if I were to throw that shot and literally slid sideways or turn and made a good block, so now he's literally turning away from me and falling out. Making this outside slide is a lot. I'm like, okay, he's just falling out. So maybe I can't get to his outside anymore. But I have to know what's going to happen before I apply. And this is what we're talking about in a fight. Both of you did really well emotionally yesterday, controlling all of that. Being able to think through a fight, not living on adrenaline. This is that next piece. I figure out what's going to happen, and then my footwork and my flow is exactly what it needs to be. So he did a beautiful job shifting. The thing I saw is that he turns it a little bit, but here. And then, so I learned from the first one that he did a beautiful job. So I went here. You see how he just shifted back and kept his angle on me? The key I see him doing is he's rotating. So he's just turning mostly in place. He gets a little bit of a step, but I can get a bigger step. Now I do that same thing. I put him here, then I stick here, then I'm back over here. So now, because he's responding to me, I'm owning this fight. But if I just go and do it, here, I'm gonna throw this shot because I know it always works. It may not, I don't know, he might be just waiting to cut my arm off. Okay, literally, I've seen guys like that. They're like, I'm just gonna sit here, and then as I do this, he's throwing at that arm. Because he knows that shot's coming. So, I wanna know what he's doing before I attack. So, that first one, here we go. We jabbed into this corner. The next one, I just want to see a simple jab outside that line. Right? So here we are. Drop step right into there. Here we are. Here, I'll turn so you guys can see it. Okay? Just here. If we want to come back, we can just jab. Right? In range, out of range. 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 Okay, what I see a bit of is this. Out of range, out of range. My opponent's really comfortable with this. Look, I take a big step here, and then my opponent cuts down a little bit. Exactly. Okay, so to put that little extra pressure, you can do that on your opponent, but you have to do it in a safe method. You notice in this method, I'm perfectly blocked. I'm like in, out. In, out. Let's straight at him. Right into those corners. Right, roll around. Think about what you want to do. This is a great chance to think about the footwork and then apply it. So in this case, what I'm going to do in this case, I'm at perfect range again. Right? Here I am. In this case, I want to roll around his sword. So normally, I could just do big long shuffle step if I want. Okay? But if he's a good follower, he might just turn with me. Good. So he turned right with me. I don't want him to turn with me. So I might do this. Make him shift to one side, think you're going one way, and then go the other. But set that up. Think about it. I'm like fighting him. I'm way out here. I'm just going to jab step right in. See what he does. He's totally relaxed. In fact, he just threw when I jab stepped in. See how he throws? I don't care because defensively I know. Okay, he throws. Okay, that's good to know. So I doubled up. He throws on the first one, I make the block, and then I follow his block back. Because he told me what he was going to do. So we went to get emotion out to the next level of make your opponent do what you want him to do. So that becomes the big piece of this exercise. Okay, so again, he's going to do it to me. He's going to go ahead and jab step over here. Good. Good. Now take that jab, go the other. Good. Exactly. Okay, this time jab step over here. Good. Again, so he just changed it up. You notice how we're using these jab feet. We're using these jab feet to set up a fight. If he just walks in on me, now this is the easiest. This is, essentially he's walking into my power, and then I can go ahead and manipulate that energy he's giving me. So in this case, all I did is he walked in, I pinned that sword, and if you notice, I just try to roll around him. Okay, and now I got opportunity. Okay, if he's walking in, here I am again. I'm gonna come over here and then cut. Doesn't matter. So he throws a shot. He walks in. I'm gonna suck up the shot. Then I'm gonna go ahead and drop out of that shot. So I make it. He comes in. I block. Right after that block, I'm just drop stepping out.
Sorry, breaking up.
Say it again.
The approach to footwork used is very different than I'm used to. So,
Yes.
you know,
Yeah. Because majority of footwork we see. Tell you the truth.
one of the reasons why I intended a lot
Yeah, I think
was it puts you into a lower set of expectations. So when you spar and you fight, what I will do periodically is I'll do something that I know I'm terrible at because it lets me let go of expectations so I can learn more.
Yeah.
Gain more knowledge.
Yeah, and beginner mind is how I do it. I basically go, okay, what's something I know I'm terrible at. So that I don't put the
You're breaking
pressure
up
of
pretty
success
hard.
on
Can somebody,
myself.
hold on, can somebody else talk just to make sure I'm not, that you're the person's breaking up?
Check.
I think it's just him.
Okay.
I'm sorry, Ross. I didn't realize I wasn't muted. My apologies.
Oh, that's okay. So again, there's lots of different ways to essentially enter into that fight, but we're applying footwork in a fight. The key is do something that you're not comfortable with. Most people are not comfortable with applying this footwork. The other piece is if I'm standing here, we talked about this. If I'm standing here right in his angles, right in my strong angles, he's ready to throw. He's nice, he's sitting into those legs. He's perfect. Look what happened. Now, what does he have to do? He has to reset and then he sets. I'm just changing my angle a tiny bit. He's resetting each time. I'm used to resetting all the time. I'm used to throwing even in it, just step out, bang, right? And then he's over there, bang, 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 right? I don't have to dig in and set up. If I come up to an opponent, he's comfortable and he's walking around, I'm gonna come back over here. Oh, there you go. See, now he wants to set up, but he never has a chance to throw because every time he sets up, I'm moving. So that becomes the reason why we constantly change those angles. I notice we're losing a little bit of Wi-Fi. So we're getting a little slowness on the Wi-Fi, but hopefully it pops back. Hopefully you guys can still see.
You guys are
I
doing
have no
good
problem.
to me.
Ross, how do you practice
That-
throwing shots while you're moving?
What's
Is
that?
that all just, you're practicing shots throwing while you're moving? Are you doing that on the pedal?
Yes, absolutely.
That's
No.
all you're doing is just throwing while you're walking around the pedal or moving around the pedal?
Yeah, 100%. We actually do a pad. You got your pad? No? I have some in that bag, or in my bag. Check up here, yeah, the white one. So I'll do this drill, and you do it with Charles. Charles, you've done the walk and throw. Okay. So all the way back. I'll do this drill, and all we do is walk. He walks backwards, and as he walks forward, he throws. You notice he's stuttering his feet each time. So watch what happens this time. So this is something to get used to. So as this foot comes forward, your power is coming forward. So as I step forward, okay? Now, as I step back, here I am. As this foot goes back, this is the power leg. So as this foot goes back, the hip forward. Okay? Go forward again. Now, the key would be in this exercise is to get this to be nice and smooth. So your opponent is just back and forth. As you get better and better at this, now Louis is going to drive. I'm going to drive Louis. I'm going to start way back here. This is straight in front of us. This time he's going to walk on a 45. Look, I'm walking on a 45 and throwing. And then I'm going to go backwards on a 45. Okay? The idea in that is that you're getting used to moving and throwing. This is then we'll do the other 45s, and then we do side to side, bang, here we go, bang, 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 right? Bang, bang, bang. Yeah. Because you notice I'm walking and throwing this. Not a lot of people walk and throw. What they do is they step and throw, but they don't walk and throw. This is a really nice partner exercise to do. If you're doing this on a pill, Louis gonna act as a pill for a sec. Okay, here I am. I can take it. Yeah. Good. You're just gonna stand still and I'm gonna turn around. So here I am. Bang. 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 All I'm doing is gathering my pill drill gathering step. I'll do that with a shuffle knot. Okay? Then I can go the other way. Your foot should be stepping on the ground, sword hitting at pretty close at the same time. So that's, I guess that's how I'm doing practicing on movement.
Thank you.
The last part, if you have a partner, this is a nice drill. Louis is just going to stand the first time. He's just going to change his hand to a different spot every time. Get the idea? Now
Yes.
we're going to do that, and he's going to change his hand as we're walking backwards. So we can do that, start that really slow. What that's doing is engaging your mind with target is open, I throw.
Yes, thank you, Ron. That's
Okay.
helpful.
May I ask a quick equipment question?
Exercises that are really good for moving and throwing.
A quick equipment question, sir.
Yes,
The pad that's on his left hand, is that just a standard boxing pad or did you make that special?
standard boxing pad.
Thank you. And
on Amazon.
I can find them. And then the second
No.
question is, are you fighting with a live fire sword or is that a heavier padded sword or is that just
That's
one of your regular
just
fighting
a
swords?
padded. This is a padded sword. This is like a boffer sword for kids.
Got it. So that's what
Right?
you did to reduce penalty for failure. I got you.
Yeah, exactly. It creates safety because we're not working on power here. We're working on thought and technique of throw.
Reduce
Later on,
penalty
you
for
work on
failure
power.
so you can learn. Yeah, I got you.
It also makes it safer for your, human practice buddy if you happen to miss your target.
Yep.
So these are
Yeah.
these are exercises not a lot of people ever do. In fact, because we just jump in and start throwing. We don't practice. I've seen this a lot of times, and Louis show exactly what happens on this. Is I'll sure you have this. Oh, you have this. I forgot. All right. This is what happens a lot of times when we do this. The person will literally set up and throw. So I'm walking backwards, they throw and then they stop. And then they throw and they stop. But if I just keep going, I just walk right away. The idea on this, I go all the way back over here again. The idea is it's nice and smooth. Yeah, you're not stopping at all. You just flow through the frame. The closer you can get to that, the better. What I have found, and I love this, somebody will do a beautiful job of fading away in an angle. Exactly the perfect defensive position. I'm throwing, that person just fades away in an angle. So go ahead. You're gonna get away. Oh, they got away because they did the perfect thing. They didn't go straight back. Because they straight back, I call, I double tap, I got the long jab, right? So in this example, she falls on that 45. Well, guess where I'm going? I'm going right with her on that 45 now, and she still has to be defensive. Before, she thought she got away because she did everything right. But now, because I can walk and throw on a 45, she has to be still in the fight. And that doesn't matter which 45. Same thing goes defensively. So she drops away on a 45 and I follow, she can throw because she got used to throwing going backwards. So she can still be offensive. She starts defensively by, hey, I'm gonna attack into this corner. I'm gonna attack, I'm a great attack person. I'm gonna attack right into a 45. Well, she falls into a 45 and she's actually attacking back because her body is still in front of her. If she were to just turn, she can't do that. Don't turn the other way. Like, turn with me. As I'm going to do. If she just turns, then she can't do that very well. But if she just falls back into that 45, bang, she hits me right on the button. So this is why we practice throwing on different angles. But again, we can add those feet in there. And that is, I want to see what she's going to do. Is she going to fall on a 45 or is she just going to turn? So here's my jab step. Good. I know she's turning now. Thank you very much. Right? So I'm out of range. I'm going to do a little bit of jab here. Hey. Oh, she thought I was going that way. That was all feet, right? This is where the next step is. Mind, you're not emotionally invested. Your adrenaline is out of the equation. You can think. So now I'm out here. Oh, I got good range. I feel really comfortable here. Defensively, I feel super comfortable here. Hey. Oh, okay. What did I learn? Hey. What did I learn? They backed up. That's what I learned. So what did I learn? Which way did they back up? Hey. Oh, backed up. Great. This is really, I learned something good here. Hey. Bang. See how you notice I'm evaluating between every one of these little changes I'm doing. Seeing what the weakness or what weakness my opponent showed me. See a message here. Night, Margarita. So this is the idea. So this is the part where we go into that space where we're calm, we think. Now we have to build a fight. I am not just, okay, I'm going to jab over here and throw. I didn't build a fight. I'm just thinking about throwing. There's no building going. Let's add some layers. I'm going to jab right here. Oh, they went backwards. Great. This time. Hey. Oh, they got really defensive and flat. What am I going to do with this? Somebody tell me what I'm going to do when somebody does this. What's my next move? Anybody?
Jab out to the shield side and around.
So I could do that. I could do this. I could do the jab step, hey, and then fall around because they're stuck. He literally went low. Their feet get flat on the ground, and it's difficult for them to turn.
Or if you can block properly, go to the sword side, shut that down, and come around the other end.
So same thing. Here we go. Go around shield side. The good part is it's very defensive. A little hard to hit people. This time I'm going to do, hey. I might even push this and hold it.
Or in my case, that's when I hit him with my left stick.
Yeah. In your case, you're doing this. Here you are. I learned, hey, bang. Or, hey, bang. Or bigger rack.
Yep.
And you have this.
There's a reason like his love racks.
Bang. I might stick it here, blocking. This stick is over here. But either way, you got two layers of defense.
Mm-hmm.
So now do you notice we went to clear mind, clear emotion, no adrenaline, to, okay, I can think while I'm fighting. To the next step of, now I'm going to build a fight. That's where we're really having to go with this. This is why we learned all of this speed. All of this here is for something. I'm testing. I'm seeing what my opponent's doing. And I'm handling her. I'm putting that stuff in my head. She kept going backwards. I'm like, okay, she's going to keep falling out of range, right? So I'm going to try maybe instead, if a person goes back a lot, they're probably used to going back a lot. If they just go backwards all the time. This is their norm. So what do I want to do with a person that goes backwards all the time? I want them, because they're not used to it, I would like, make them go back a little bit. Oh, then stop. Make them go back, and then they feel like, oh, I'm disengaging every time. I kind of feel like a jerk, right? So soon what happens is here you are, you disengage, and they stop moving. And then I get opportunity. Or they disengage, and then I come here and they start coming forward. Bang! I catch them walking back in to where they think engagement is. The idea is to make them come forward. This is an example example, like when I fight Alan on, he's a giant tall man. If I chase him, he's gonna hit me. I can never get close enough. And he is a master of going backwards. So instead, I jab step. Hey, you got something? Oh, no, you don't. Come on. You got something? Oh, I'm just gonna play in your corner. Huh? I'm gonna play in your corner. And then as soon as he starts shifting forward a little, I can jump on him. But you have to be patient. You notice, again, very little of that had to do about what shot I was going to hit him with. It had all to do about how I'm going to get into position to hit my opponent. So today's lesson is learn how to build use that good footwork. Try different stuff like, okay, I'm going to do a switch foot, right? And see what my opponent does. I'm going to just do a jab, a drop step to his offside, see what they do. I'm going to fake a drop step and go to the other side, see what they do. Take what you know and try it. See what they do. Think defense first. I'm doing this. They might throw. So I have to be thinking, I'm not throwing here, I'm just defending. Might throw, defend. Right? But I'm learning. I'm safe, I'm learning, and I can build the next step. Good part is, at least two of you got to the first step, and that is being able to get to the point where you think. And that's a huge goal, because if you can't think, you can't do this next step. Very difficult. But as soon as you're comfortable and you're just watching this fight, it's like it becomes this beautiful chessboard. You know, that's what happens in those places. Then you could build the match. You could build the end game. Right? Now that doesn't mean that this person sometimes is so good that they're gonna just jump on you and throw bang, 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 bang. And then you gotta react, your adrenaline's gonna pop, but as soon as I'm out, as soon as that person's done, then I bring that adrenaline back down. I'm like, whoo, not gonna let them get that close again. What did I do wrong to get there? How did they jump me? Right? Okay, well, I had to have a little bit more range, and I don't want to be anywhere where they can step directly at me. I want to always be on their ankles. I want to always be moving sideways, because then they have to change constantly. Okay, so again, I know that because I experienced it, I learned, and here you know that if a person, this person that's walking straight forward at you, and I'm walking straight back, they get everything they want. But if this person's walking straight forward and I start adding angle changes, you notice they slow down. Because what happens is as they turn, they stop for a second trying to figure out where the bearing is, and then I just keep turning back and forth. And you can do that because you know how to. For them, they're just used to going straight forward. All right, so that's today's lesson. Think about the footwork you're going to apply on your opponent from that edge of range. The good part is your opponent can't say that, oh, you're not, we get this all the time. I don't feel threatened. I don't care if you're threatened or not.
You're just moving for the sake of moving.
We hear this all the time. You're moving for the sake of moving. I don't care. I'm not threatened by you either. Right? So the idea is get them to make sure, okay, I'm out here, now I know I'm safe, and my range is good. Ha! Now all of a sudden they think, now you get some energy into points where I can throw, they feel like they're in the fight a little bit. And you're learning stuff, and you're not going directly into their power. So think about what feat you want to try, and try something. If you get hit, big deal. Right? We're learning. It's like, I learned that against tall people, I used to go shield side all the time on everybody. Against tall people, that doesn't actually work very well. Because as I go shield side, they reach over their head and can still hit me or throw it offside, and their arms are high enough that they'll actually hit me. So instead, I learned, I'm like, okay, I can't do that because this one person hits me that way all the time. So instead, on a tall person, I did this. I jam their sword. Guess what? Big long arms, can't throw anymore. Just like boxing, right? Jam their hand.
Crowd their elbow.
Crowd their elbow. So against a tall person, that's what I do against people that are tall. I jab into their sword because it makes it harder for them to throw. But it was something I had to learn.
Oh.
But I had to be clear-headed. I had to think about it, and I had to build that fight. That's where we're at. So.
Okay, I'll have to remember that next time I face the Highness of Sinagua.
Exactly. The other piece, and we're going to leave on this one, is you're at the edge of range. I want to throw. I step and throw. They absolutely see the step.
We've lost your audio, Bronis.
Every time. Instead, how I do it. Any bit into circle. Yeah, we're lagging. Hold on. All right. So, yeah, we'll see if this picks up. So the idea is, I'm at range. I want to move in. Look how small my feet get. The closer you get to your opponent, the smaller your feet. If I'm way out here, I don't care. I can take big giant steps. No big deal. I can take big giant steps. I'm right here. Look how small my feet get. I get down and I'm just like literally just inch at a time getting close to my opponent. Because if I'm here and I take a big step and they take a big step, I don't know where the range is anymore. So if I go here and they're here, I'm done. But if I do this and they take a big step, I'm still in total control. Easy to fall back because my feet are together. But if I take that big step, it's really hard to fall back again. So as you circle somebody and you want to get into range, I'm going to try to get into range. I just circle into an angle and I get closer and closer, and then I get back out. And then I circle, I get closer and closer, get back out.
And he hides it, so you don't even realize he's getting closer until he's hitting you, and you're like, wait, we're supposed to be out of range.
All right, so small feet. Remember, small feet, small blocks, all those things. Okay, bring it small because that's what saves you. Big blocks, easy spots for people to hit. Small block. At the block. At the block. Right? Big block. Big bang. Big bang right in the leg. Right? Small. You want to keep things small. That includes feet. Okay? If I'm going to try to get a big step around and I'm out of range, I can do this step and then get into range and be okay. But I don't want to do that step if I'm here necessarily. I want this one to be a little bit smaller. Okay? Closer you are, the smaller steps you're getting. That's just the fundamental that'll keep you safe. All right. I think that's going to wrap her up for today. Hopefully that gave everybody something to think about. I think so as we go into the spring, let's think about applying those feet into opportunities to learn instead of opportunities to kill somebody. The kill comes in times. The feet will give you opportunities to learn what your opponent does so that you can safely kill them.
Plato, what does this button do, James?
Oh, that's a good way to put that.
All you're trying to do is figure out what this button does. You don't have to kill them.
Yeah.
Yes.
So, and to directly say it, the small feet give you control and give you change and timing, and then the larger feet give you obviously more range.
Yeah, I'm going to take a really long step against a person that's very far away from me because I have to. I'm going to take a really small step if that person's close to me because I don't need a big one.
Or if you've got their feet tied into something where they're committed, then you can transition from small feet to big feet to make some kind of a gain.
Right. But again, you have to do something like Louis said, you engage the one thing and then you can do another thing. But that's all thinking about the fight. So that's today's idea, is thinking about that edge of the fight. And I want you to bring feet into that edge of the fight and think about, what are my feet doing for this person right now? Defensively, we talked about that. In fact, Nessa did that. She did the blocking drill and she just held her sword and shield and they right in front, and they just block, and then they got even into moving a little bit, and block. As soon as you're comfortable with that, then all of a sudden I can pop in and out of my opponent's range anytime I want because I'm comfortable with my blocks. And in fact, the more comfortable you get at that, soon you can try something. You're not even thinking, you don't have to think about where your shield is because you know it's going to be in a good place. And all you're seeing is, what did they do? So now I didn't have to think I have to block this, because if I'm thinking I have to block this, what happens is I'm not thinking about my opponent and what they did. So the idea is you're comfortable. I believe I'm going into this position. All I'm doing is I did that drop step just to see what my opponent was going to do. And then I evaluate that and take advantage of that. Hopefully that makes some sense. Everybody good with that? Awesome. All right, so we're going to drop off Facebook. Say goodbye to Facebook.
Bye, Facebook. Thanks for joining us.